You know, I've been very critical of the Green Bay Packers organization. I do not currently consider Green Bay to be a Super Bowl caliber organization by today's standards. One thing I will say about Green Bay is this. They can get the quarterback right. We've seen them draft Brett Favre. Well, they didn't draft Brett Favre. They traded for Brett Favre, but they got their hands on Brett Favre. They also drafted Aaron Rodgers, so they can get the quarterback right. Bart Starr is an all-time great quarterback. They seem to get that position right, over the past couple of years. And they've done a pretty decent job of drafting and home-growing their players. But a big reason why I say Green Bay is not a Super Bowl caliber roster is because they're just flat out not aggressive enough. Teams like Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, the Rams, Seattle, Tampa Bay. These teams are taking big swings, making big moves, and they just flat out are way more aggressive and way more better at adapting than Green Bay. Okay? And an example of this is Green Bay in 2019 goes to an NFC Championship game. They were one game away from the Super Bowl. They lose that game. They clearly are not better than the team they lost to in San Francisco. And what does Green Bay do the very next year? They throw in the towel and say, no, we're not going to support Aaron Rodgers. We don't care about winning a Super Bowl. We're going to prepare for the future by drafting Jordan Love, a quarterback that we don't need. That's an example of what I'm talking about, okay? And Green Bay never seems to go out and get big-time free agents. When you hear guys like Julio Jones, Khalil Mack, J.J. Watt being out on the market, you always think, man, if Green Bay gets their hands on one of those players, maybe they could win the Super Bowl. They never get their hands on one of those players. That's the reality. And I've always thought to myself, why is Green Bay not aggressive enough? Why does Green Bay not understand that you need to be aggressive in today's NBA? And I think the same way about the Boston Celtics. I think to myself, why aren't the Boston Celtics going out of their way to acquire James Harden, to acquire Kevin Durant, to acquire Anthony Davis and Kawhi Leonard? And the reality is this. The Boston Celtics have become the Green Bay Packers of the National Basketball Association. And again, you can take that as a good thing or a bad thing because we know for a fact that Green Bay, they're not a dumpster fire. They're not like the Washington Redskins of the past or the Cleveland Browns of the past or the New York Jets. They're a well-run organization that is going to put a solid product out on the field. But a long time ago, Green Bay was known as Title Town. And now, they're not always in the Super Bowl picture. In fact, they haven't won a Super Bowl in over a decade, okay? So if you care about a team just being relevant and competing, that's fine, but I have high standards, and that's not all I care about. I want my team to win a championship. And I think Boston Celtics fans should feel the same way about their team. Boston's not a train wreck. They draft well. They're going to field a competitive team every year. They're a pretty well-run franchise. But they haven't won a championship in over a decade. And for a team, or I should say for a franchise, that is the all-time leader in championships won with 17, isn't that just kind of weird? I mean, the Los Angeles Lakers standard every year is championship or bust. That's just how it is. And to me, both Green Bay and Boston rely way too much on draft picks. They're not aggressive enough. Other teams that haven't been historically better than the Boston Celtics are better than them today. Teams like Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Milwaukee, those teams right now are all better than Boston, but historically, that was never the case. And same thing with the Green Bay Packers. Historically, Tampa Bay, the Rams, the 49ers, the Chiefs, and the Browns, these teams never used to be on Green Bay's level. But those teams have adapted, and those teams have caught up to the Green Bay Packers. And the crazy thing is, what I don't understand about Green Bay and Boston is this. When these teams make trades, they win, okay? When Green Bay acquired Reggie White, an all-time great defensive player, they won a Super Bowl because of it. When they acquired Charles Woodson, they won a Super Bowl. When Boston acquired Kevin Garnett to go along with Ray Allen and Paul Pierce, they won a championship. So I don't understand this, oh, we're going to stand back and let Romeo Langford develop. Oh, we're going to stand back and let Marquez Valdes-Scantling develop for Aaron Rodgers to throw to. I don't understand it. And that's how I feel about Boston and Green Bay. I think the Boston Celtics and the Green Bay Packers are two franchises that have gotten too comfortable with their success. Those two franchises are good with being just good enough. And the standards have lowered, apparently. And I think the Green Bay Packers have become the Boston Celtics of the NFL. I think the Boston Celtics have become the Green Bay Packers of the National Basketball Association. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God-blessed day, and I'm out.